Welcome back. There's a live look outside from the Oregon coast. That's our Inn at Spanish Head resort hotel camera in Lincoln City. Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Emotional abuse doesn't just break your heart, it can affect your entire body and mind, but healing is possible. Here to share more, we welcome back trauma-informed life coach and author of Return to You, Shannon Kaiser. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, happy Friday.
Let's talk about covert control and bullying tactics, and you have some things that we can actually spot really early on to maybe hopefully avoid going down a really dark path.
Yeah, I mean, bullies are all around, right? We've been dealing with them our whole life, and it's National Bully Awareness Week. So I thought this was really important because sometimes they're living in our own homes and we don't even realize it. There are certain tactics that people use to really control others, and they're more interested in control versus connection. And they're little things that slip by, sometimes we don't know. One of the tactics is word salad. And this is where they're talking to you and they maybe start the sentence one way and you're trying to follow along, and then they kind of end it in a whole nother way, and your mind is left confused, you're dysregulated. You know, this is like what I was watching a documentary the other day, and there's some interviews from the cult of the Nexus cult, and a lot of the people who are now doing interviews were saying this was the number one thing in the beginning. They listen to the leader and they're talking and they're looking around and everyone else is nodding like, I get it, but the person you're doubting yourself, like they just contradicted themselves in the same sentence. These are tactics to get you off balance. So just pay attention. If you are feeling uncertain in conversations, keep it direct and ask questions.
Well, and that constant state of being unsure of what's going on, it can really exhaust your mind and then maybe even lead to some physical symptoms as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's document lots of research now with people who are experiencing mental health issues and PTSD. I know for my own personal experience, a lot of the depression that I had, I was diagnosed with clinical depression 12 years ago, and I've since been able to manage and create a world around mental health and happiness and helping ourselves get better. But in that experience, it was because the people around me, there's a lot of projection, a lot of different things that they do to kind of make sure they're not accountable. And if you're living with someone who has never taken accountability, you take that on and you're trying to make it work. And that can be a burden on any human being. Life is hard enough as it is, right? We're living in a crazy world. And anxiety, extreme anxiety, and even chronic health issues. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia 3 years ago, and well, 4 years ago now. And I started to do research. I worked with a therapist, and there's more studies now that say if you are involved in emotional abuse in your life, chronic muscle pain conditions like fibromyalgia are they're connected.
Well, and it makes sense of kind of bringing it back to why it's important to name these things and talk about them so that you can get the tools and move forward and to a more positive path.
Yeah, you know, tools are so important. And I think what we want to do if we're feeling dysregulated or like we can't trust the person, start documenting things, start to keep track, take screen grabs. You're not alone. And it's really to have a support system that can help you. Listen to your intuition. You know, every single time I was involved with someone and they were actually trying to coercively control me and not interested in connection, my intuition always said something's off or this feels too good to be true. And also go no contact if you can. That helps you heal. That helps you really separate and have a boundary with them.
What about people who say, oh my gosh, I'm so entrenched in this relationship, it's my entire universe at this point, right? Going no contact, even though maybe it's the healthiest path forward, it can seem impossible at times.
I'm so glad you brought this up because it's not always if you have kids with people or there's so many there are homes, and what we want to really do is recognize that that's when you really lean on support outside of the home or people who are really connected to the person who you're feeling emotionally abused by. And this is a trusted therapist, this is counseling centers, a life coach, and also your medical doctors can help, and research lots of online support groups. But also there's other tactics like gray rocking where you don't emotionally engage with them, because a lot of the times these high conflict people get reactions out of you experiencing them and reacting. That makes them feel like I got attention. And so what you want to do is really just detach and know that you are within your own self worthy of love, and you're not dependent on getting it from that person who's harming you.
Well, and what about finding sources of hope? Like, I think you're such a great example of somebody who's lived through a lot of these things and you've learned so much and you're sharing it with other people to hopefully help them find their way out of these really tough situations.
It's so important. And I think lots of online resources. I started She Saves Herself collection. It's a collective in shesavesherself.org. And there's a lot of other online programs where you can get help and support and some books. There's a lot of resources and books that can help by trauma therapists, PTSD experts, mental health. Go to the bookstore, look at mental health and self-help and healing. And also, I think it's really important to trust your intuition on the path of healing. My intuition really saved me. I was in a very many different connections in different ways that were very harmful. My intuition that really said it's time to go, it's time to really start healing. And each step led me to the bookstore to find the right book, or led me to the right therapist to work with, or led me to write the book about it. So it's really important to trust yourself, but also lean on your support system, and you can make it through. And know that it's not like an all or nothing. It's just first recognize the signs and know that this is just part of you knowing that you are worth it and you deserve love and respect as well.
Absolutely, and that help is always out there waiting for you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Always great to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, Shannon's book again is Return to You. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.